Hey everyone, this is Get Closed, Get Paid, Friday, December 10th, 2024. And today we are taking a break from all things legal and we are having a presentation by Sarah from CATIC, and we're so excited to have her. Erin and I actually took this class already and we loved it so much we asked her to come back and do one for Get Closed, Get Paid. But we thought this might be a good December break. We've had so many legal changes to encounter in the real estate world this year, really related to the NAR settlement and new commission agreements. Everything's changing. So this is going to be a break from all things legal, and we are just going to talk about marketing, which is important going into year end and making our plans for January. So as always, we always like to give the reminder that this is a safe place in the area of antitrust. We don't make whenever we discuss things, we don't discuss commissions using actual figures or anything like that. And we don't support anti-competitive practices. So we always have to give that disclaimer before we dive into any of our classes. And what's our other disclaimer, Erin? The non-legal.
Yeah. Yes, this is a form for educational purposes. Doesn't create an attorney-client relationship,
Yes.
but to do so, you can engage the law firms. That's it.
Yes.
That's my favorite set.
That's it.
Well, I'm excited to have Sarah here with us today. She's got some really great information. And as I mentioned, we are legal folks. We are not marketing folks. So we always rely on the experts to help us with the things that we are not great at. So Sarah, we know, is one of the best. So Sarah, take it from here.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I'm happy to be here. And I'm going to do what no presenter is ever supposed to do, and I'm going to apologize because I have a horrible cold and I am here by a thread today. But I was so excited and honored to do this that I did not want to miss this opportunity. So I apologize, I'm not on video today, but I am here. And like Erin and Kristen said, my name is Sarah Hasch. And first and foremost, I am a dog mom and a sister. I'm a friend. I'm a weightlifter, a health seeker, and a storyteller. And I say that first because, in my opinion, in my experience, it is so incredibly important, especially on social media, to put ourselves forward as who we are and not what we do for a living. Um, my my first tip on social media will be the 80-20 rule, and that 80% of your social media should be personal and only 20% of that should be work related. As real estate professionals, we tend to want to share so much about what we do for work and post all of our listings and make everything about real estate. But the unfortunate part of that is that we tend to post a lot of listings and people don't get to know, like, or trust us when everything that we post on social media is business related. And we all know that people work with people that they know, like, and trust. And so the other thing is that um, we should be telling a story of who we are and where we are. And my second tip is where we are. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I see on social media for real estate agents is that they don't put where they are in their bio. I mean, 90% of real estate agents are not putting the city that they live and work in. And for me, as from the consumer side of things, if I don't know where you are, why am I going to follow you as a real estate professional, right? So show me who you are and show me where you are. So while those things are important and it's important to show who I am as an individual, none of that qualifies me to be here, right? So being a dog mom does not qualify me to teach social media to real estate professionals. I actually sold real estate in Northern California for 12 years, and I sold title insurance for 7 years, 3 years in California and 4 years in Florida. And while I was selling title insurance in Florida, I went to this social media sales conference about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and I learned everything social media related pertaining to realtors, and I brought it back to my market, and I started teaching Facebook and Instagram classes, and I started getting requests for more and more classes. And so I put on a social media mastermind with 200 realtors, and we had 200 realtors there both years in a row. It was a fantastic event. But events are not all about the events, right? And that translates into the real estate world and into, hosting customer appreciation parties for your clients, because that gives you opportunities to stay in front of your clients and touch them. And so, if you don't know who Michael Mayer is, I highly recommend the 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer. He does a whole strategy about meeting with people and leveraging meetings and events to get in front of more people, basically by referral, but it all ties into social media. So I thought I'd tell a couple quick stories in terms of thinking about storytelling. And I think that these are huge. This first one is huge because we all have this huge problem with video marketing, and all of us need to be doing it. It's over 89% of what's consumed on social media now. And so I'm going to tell a little story, and it might not sound like it's going towards social media, but it will. So, about 8 years ago, I went to a Mortgage Bankers Association luncheon, and there was a woman there giving a presentation. And she was maybe in her 50s or 60s, but she was recalling the very first time she had ever given a presentation. And her armpits were sweaty, and she was like fanning. You gotta like feel the visual of her like fanning her armpits and wiping her palms off on her pant legs, and telling her boss, Tom, I cannot do this. And Tom is like, Kim, put your ego aside and get out there and talk to these people. And she was so offended because she did not think it was her ego. What do you mean, my ego? I'm not egotistical. I'm shy. Like, how rude. She was so offended. And he's like, no, Kim, that's your ego. When you're so worried about what everybody else is thinking about you, you're missing an opportunity to share the information and the knowledge that you have to share with them. And I liken that to social media and video marketing. Something turned on for me after that presentation. It just clicked in my brain that I can do video. Who cares what people think, right? And so, and I know Erin does a lot of video. Kudos to you, Erin. It is so hard, and we all hate it. Trust me, we all hate it. We
It's
all hate the way
so
we look.
uncomfortable.
It's so
Yes.
uncomfortable. We all
It's
hate the
so
way we look.
uncomfortable, but you have to do it. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then you curse and spit and then turn the camera back on and do it again and then just post it, and then you don't think about it anymore. And actually no one else thinks about it anymore either, right? They engage with the post and then everybody moves on with their lives. So yes, it is certainly an ego thing. I can certainly appreciate.
Yeah, and I promise you, especially today when I'm all nasally like this, I will never be going back to watch this recording. I hope y'all enjoy it, 'cause I sound awful. But we hate the way we look, we hate the way we sound, and people still love us despite the way we look and sound, and we still have knowledge to be shared and value to give people. And if we're worried about what they're thinking about us, then we're missing a huge opportunity. So one more quick story. That is Miss Cotton. I don't know if I shared this story at the class you were at. So Miss Cotton, when I was still living in California selling real estate, I went to a party in Lake Tahoe, and this 21-year-old girl was walking around with this little white dog that her dad wouldn't let her keep, and she's like, free dog. And I fell in love with that dog. I mean, to the point that I went, I lived in this bougie little apartment in downtown Sacramento, and I went home and I gave up my lease to that bougie little apartment. It was so cute, like a little Melrose Place style apartment, and like all 10 of us neighbors were like super chummy, and I gave that up for that little white dog, that little flea bag. I loved her so much. And so Cotton had her own Facebook page. She's from California. Everybody met Cotton. She clearly sat on my desk in my real estate office. She showed property with me. She went to closings with me. Everybody knew Cotton, and she moved across the country to Florida with me. And I say all that to say that when Cotton passed away last March, the outpouring on social media was huge. I'm talking like hundreds of DMs and comments and people picking up the phone and calling me because they knew that, you know, Cotton was my child. And what I learned from that is obviously the power of social media over, you know, 14 years of this dog's life and the power of branding. And I branded myself as a dog mom without even trying. Like I had just automatically created this dog mom brand. And so we have an opportunity to show people our brand and who we are on purpose, right? So it doesn't have to be on accident. Um, but I just thought, you know, how amazing that we're connected all the way across the country to all these people, and 90% of them I don't actually personally know, right? But the other thing about that is that even long after I stopped selling real estate and I've been in Florida and I'm teaching these classes, I still get referrals for real estate agents. I still get people all over the country that say, "Hey, don't you sell real estate?" No, but I know somebody who does, right? So that constant branding online really, I mean, I haven't sold real estate in over 15 years, and that constant branding online is huge.
And you may
So,
not have made those connections if you didn't have Miss Cotton as a part of your life, right? I mean, a lot of those
exactly.
folks connected because they're pet lovers and they, you know, they connect with you as a person, and of course they remember you as well. That's great.
Yeah, it's all intertwined, all of it. So and so in our social media we should be telling stories about our customers, right? So while we want people to know who we are and it's important, when we talk about our closings, it is not about us. We are not the hero. I had built an entire class based on working with a colleague that thought that everything was about them, because it's not. Like it is so not about us. And so when we make ourselves the hero, and here's another mistake that I see real estate agents making, and I apologize if you're making this mistake, but just just closed a $22 million deal, who's next? Or we're about to hit X amount of dollars this year, who's next? That is great, that is fantastic, good for you, nobody cares. And I don't mean that in a mean way, I mean that in a look around, know your audience, and your audience, your whole audience,
Mm.
most of it is struggling in this economy, right? So while it's
Yeah,
important for people to know that you're successful at what you do, the way that you present that is so important, because people aren't doing well
yeah,
right now, right? And it's not
yeah,
relatable, and people want to work with people that they can relate to. And what they don't
yeah,
realize
yeah.
is they don't realize how much money you spent to make what you made. You may hit
Right,
300 GCI, but you might only actually take home 90,000 of that, between
right.
the cost of driving
Yeah,
and advertising and overhead expenses and
yeah,
taxes, all the
yeah,
things. And people don't know that. They don't realize that. So be
yeah.
careful
That's
about
one
the
of the
way.
things. Yeah, and that's one of the things that we talked about in some of our NAR settlement classes and buyer broker agreement classes, when we're talking about having to explain to the consumer what you do and where your value is. I ask folks, when you post on social media, what do you post? And I say, does it look something like just listed, under contract, and congrats, you're closed, and nothing happens in between? I said, you can't blame the consumer for not knowing anything about how hard you work and not knowing the time that you put into your business, all the deals that don't close, all the contracts that fall apart. And the consumer might think, well, gosh, I don't want to pay you because all you do is just listed, under contract, just closed, and none of the actual trials and tribulations in between. So I like your idea of actually telling the story, not about the real estate agent and how bummed they were to lose a deal, but rather focus on the consumer, because that's what folks can relate to, right? And most of us cannot relate to, selling $300 million worth of real estate, but we can relate to overcoming a challenge in a real estate transaction. And I hope folks will be inspired to post more of those kinds of stories instead of making it look easy and have your Starbucks and that's that.
Right.
So.
I'm so glad you added to that, Erin, because I don't have vlogging in this particular presentation. But one thing that I talk about and teach about a lot is vlogging, and vlogging your day to day as a real estate professional, and putting a little phone holder in your windshield and popping that video on when you hop in your car and record yourself showing property. Hey guys, it's Sarah. I'm driving to, Spring Hill, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And today I'm working with such and such clients. We're looking at 3-2s. They really wanted to be in this school district. And then in between each showing, talk about what it was like, vlog about it. People love reality TV. And then they get a chance to A, be entertained, which is important. B, be reminded that you're a real estate professional without you going, I just sold so much in real estate, right? And that how much work you put into it, right? So, and you're educating them on what that Spring Hill community is like as far as pricing or whatever. So, just vlogging is huge too. And I didn't even get to that. I won't even get on that today, but just throw that in there on that thought, Erin. Thank you. So I have a couple samples. This says they're all special, but this almost had me in tears. So excited and proud of my buyers. And every time I read this, I really want to know what was special. I want to know what had her in tears. Like, there's so much to be desired in this post. And, I blocked her face out, but she didn't tell a story at all in any way, shape, or form. She missed a huge opportunity. And I compare that to this. And the reason I'm putting these two side by side is because the average American is connected to a minimum of 9 real estate agents. So if I'm seeing these two types of posts in my feed side by side, I know who I'm going to work with, right? So this is what Oscar says. He says, couldn't be happier for Jackie becoming a first-time homeowner. The biggest thing I learned about Jackie is that she is extremely determined. She knows exactly what she wants and nothing can stop her from accomplishing it. I am beyond grateful to have helped a friend find a new home for baby Leo. It was great to finally meet him. Wish you the best and hope you create amazing memories in your first new home. Y'all, the only thing that he could have done better about this post is made it in a video. Like literally, that was such a great post. And he told the story of his customer. And I know that I'm going to want to work with the real estate agent that's actually going to take the time to tell my story and not just make a post to remind people that she made a post that she sells real estate. So we also tell stories about, what the market's doing, right? So where are we at with rates, which has not been pretty for a while. And what neighborhoods are doing. This is one of my favorite real estate professionals up in Concord, North Carolina. She does this market in a minute. And oh, I sure hope that Erin, you're gonna have to give me a thumbs up. I don't know if I shared it with sound, if it has sound when I push play.
Okay.
Hello, friends. Lee Brown with One Community Real Estate here, and it's time for Market in a Minute. Let's get an update on Mint Hill, North Carolina, where we have 2 coming soon, 15 available, and 82 under contract. Yes, you can buy. Yes, you can sell. Yes, my team and I would be delighted to help.
That was, oh.
He's fantastic.
Hold, please. I don't know what just happened. I'm sorry, Erin.
That's okay. I can see you and I can hear you. Do you need to progress the slide?
Can you see the slide still?
Yeah,
Okay.
still can see the slides.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't see
Lee's
this.
really great. She does a great job of making sure that folks understand her personality and where she stands. And she's, she's wonderful and shares her opinion, shares market value information, is a great supporter of the real estate industry, which is nice to see.
I'm so sorry. Give me one sec.
That's okay. Yep. So now I see a white screen, Sarah. And it looks like we're back.
Yeah. Mine says it's paused.
What if you went to progress the slide at the bottom left? I could see slide 10 of 64.
I'm in
Oh, and get back.
no, I'm in Zoom, but I'm
Mhm.
I don't There we go. I'm so sorry.
That. That's okay.
I'm so
It's okay. But because the video does work with audio. And
Yes.
again,
Hey there, are
yeah.
you a real estate professional? You're gonna wanna save this reel so you can recreate it. Listen, I know that there are a ton of homeowners out there that wanna get into their next home, into their dream home, but they are terrified of the interest rates. Did you know that they can buy down their points up to 3%? Did you know that so many of them are sitting on a ton of equity, which means they can take that equity, buy down their points, put it down on their house, and possibly be in the same mortgage payment they're in right now? Y'all, people don't buy purchase prices. They buy budget. They buy monthly mortgages. So I said that you need to save this reel and recreate it because you need to educate your audience that there is a good possibility that they could be moving into their dream home. Now, what I want you to do is call your favorite mortgage professional, get all the details, work out some scenarios, and then make this reel, and then take it a step further and dig into your database, dig into those past clients who are probably sitting on a ton of equity that may not know that they can be moving, and start having conversations. Spread the word, y'all.
So I made that video last fall. I'm still waiting to see another real estate agent make a video like that, talking about buying down points. I've seen a few lenders do it, but I
Yeah.
think what the reason I share a lot of what I share is about a change of perspective, right? Like we don't think about
Mhm.
this stuff because we're real estate professionals. Like we all know that we can buy down points. The general consumer doesn't know that they can buy down points. And so information like that, talking about loan products that are available, and not just you don't have to do them solo, and you don't have to be afraid of talking about those products. You can get someone to do it with you. You can get a lender to do a video with you. I bet you could get Erin to do a video with you. You don't have
I
to
would.
go at it alone, but think about providing more value over just just um entertainment, or self-proclaiming success. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
So we also want to tell stories about our listings, right? So I just have just a sample video of a great listing, on telling a story of a listing. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll just play the first half of it, but this is wow. Um, Amy Youngren, and she's up in Canada.
It might be snowy and cold outside, but the Toronto real estate market is crazy hot right now. My name is Amy Youngren with North Group Real Estate, and I'm here to tell you about our awesome new listing at Alter Condos. Listen, you've got to take a look. Inside Unit 1701 is a super functional layout. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and even a separate media space. Trendy features and finishes, and a beautiful unobstructed view of the city from an expansive balcony. And best of all, amenities that'll make you never want to leave the building. Don't believe me? Take a look. So we've got all the starry eyes for 89 McGill. Its unique street presence makes you do a double take every time you see it. And with a location right in the heart of it all, everything is literally just outside your doorstep.
You guys get the idea. It's well done, and you don't have to hire a professional to do that. You know, you can get one of those handheld stabilizing devices, a gimbal or a DJ Osmo or whatever brand you want to get, and just have someone that you work with or one of your friends or family members walk through the home with you. Um, any one of our phone devices has the same recording, if not better, than what professionals are using. And I'm not trying to knock professionals, but I always like to remind people that, especially in economies like this, we don't need to be paying $1,200 to produce a video for a listing. We can do it.
I think this is a good time for Erin to tell you her story about what she did after your class, after we took
Okay.
your class.
I'd love to
Wait,
hear
what
it.
what did I do? Wait,
You
what did I
posted
do,
it on the
Kristen?
first shot instead of retake.
Oh, I did. Oh, Sarah. Okay. So I normally will do a million takes and get curse and spit and then finally get one that's fine-ish. And after your presentation for the bar, I went for it and ended up posting the first take of a video that I did, and it wasn't bad. So, you know,
Yay.
as long as I don't get too tongue-tied, and again, it doesn't, you're right, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be professional for everything that you post, and we can do hard things. So thanks,
We
Kristen.
can.
It's
Agreed. And I'm so glad that you shared that, because that is one of the most rewarding parts about what I do, is hearing that somebody tried something and that it worked and they felt good about it. So thank you for sharing that. You know, in that video where I talked about buying down the points, there's a point in that video where my voice cracks like a 12-year-old boy hitting puberty when I say the word terrified, and it just, every time I hear it, I cringe, but it was the best take and it was the first take. And
yeah,
it's important, you know, to
yeah.
show people that it's okay. People love authenticity, and they love to laugh with you and they love to laugh at you. And we might as well give them a show, right, Erin?
That's true. That's very true.
So I threw this in. This is one of my favorite layouts for a post, but I also threw it in here to remind me to tell y'all to stretch the listing photos. And what I mean by that is, don't throw all your listing photos up in one post at the beginning. You know, start with a picture of the front, and, you know, in a couple days post a picture of the pool, in a few days post a picture of the kitchen, and always use a call to action. But you know, don't throw all your pictures out there at the beginning. Um, Stretch the listing, make more social media posts out of that one listing by posting just a few at a time, and then, or one at a time, and um, adding in, you know, obviously the call to action. What do you like about this backyard? Are you a swimmer? Or, you know, whatever that call to action looks like to increase engagement.
I'm glad you said that. I was going to ask, what are some of the successful calls to action? Again, I'm a very literal thinker, so when you say that, I'm thinking, what? Ask me to send you a copy of the listing. Like, what are the kinds of questions that you're asking to get engagement on that particular post?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So first of all, does it pertain to the post, right? So if it's like, if it's a pool, like, it should pertain to, you know, backyard living, or, you know, grilling out or swimming or something like that. If it's in the kitchen, it should pertain to the kitchen. But also, you know, you can tie that into the question of um buying, like, what's your dream kitchen? Or do you prefer a large kitchen or a small kitchen? Or who cooks in your house? You know, just whatever little questions
That
to get
means,
the
yeah.
conversation going.
Okay, and then the engagement will come in the form of comments below the picture, or are they coming in like private messages?
Yeah,
Uh,
Engagement will generally come in the form of comments below the picture.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
to get messages, to drive traffic into your messages, to get people communicating one-on-one, you've got to throw a little money into a post, and like boost the post, and then put a button into the boost where they can click learn more, and then it goes into a message. But you can also, with Reels, you can add buttons without boosting it, and you can have specific buttons that link people into your messages.
Yeah.
We also want to talk about, what's going on around us, right? Like as far as parks and communities, and you think about the type of content that you're going to post and what type of audience it's going to attract, right? So if you're going to do a series going around to little community parks talking about, parks, you're probably going to be attracting, some young families or whatever. Talk about events that are going on, in the area, go to the calendar, go to the chamber calendar, see what type of events are going on and start talking about it. Like that's a way to provide value. And remember that when we're striving to provide value on social media, that value looks different to everybody, right? Like value to one person might be what type of events are going on. Is this a happening area? Is there a lot to do in the nightlife? Or value to another person might be how close is this to Publix, or you know what I mean? So you think about what you're posting and talking about, the type of people it's going to attract, and then what percent of posts should be to sellers and what percent to buyers? Um, I I don't think I don't think it matters the amount of the percentage that we go either way, because they're all potential clients on one way or another, unless you're specifically a buyer's agent and you only want to work with buyers, then make most of your percentage about, buying. But I would say in general, you want your listing posts to reach people on behalf of your sellers, right? You want those posts, the marketing posts, to reach an audience on behalf of your sellers, but you also want all of your posts to reach everybody, to remind them that you're in the real estate game. Just again, more about events, talking about what's going on with in your community, in your neighborhood. With seller campaigns, should boost be to a smaller radius? That's a good question. So the question is, with seller campaigns, should boost be to a smaller radius to get higher capture rate? And the answer would be yes. It's a really good question. Because people are specifically looking in specific areas, and location wise, like you don't even have to geotag things for the phone to know where you're at and it to reach people close to you. Like the phone is so creepy now that you can just be in an area, and your post will reach people without, like, have you ever met someone for the first time and you haven't shared any socials or anything, and you walk away from them and they come up in your people you may know on Instagram or Facebook? Have you ever seen that, Erin?
Yes.
Yeah, it's creepy,
Yes.
right? Because
Also
like,
hard with
Yeah.
clients. Like, I feel like clients end up in my inbox a lot, and I don't understand how that happens.
yeah,
I agree.
it's a good problem.
Problem,
Here's just a video sample of, this is actually a realtor in Miami, who posted Miami events. and of what's coming up. And I thought it was interesting. I literally just added this morning to share it.
Here's some awesome events happening in Miami this October. This year marks Miami Carnival's 40th anniversary. They're going to do the parade and concert on October 13th at the Miami-Dade County Fairgrounds. October 23rd through the 26th is the 12th South Beach Seafood Festival. It is a week of nightly culinary events leading up to the main one on Saturday. It's going to have great food, entertainment, and drinks. You can also experience Oktoberfest here in Miami at the German American Social Club, which will have authentic German food, drinks, and entertainment.
We don't need to watch the whole thing, but you guys get the idea. That's providing value to people, and it's staying involved in the community. And whatever you're promoting, you're also attracting from that, right? So I always think of the algorithm as the spirit of reciprocity. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out. And the more you connect with someone or something, the more those someones or some things are going to connect back to you. And then this is my final slide.
Sorry, Sarah, I love that idea of repurposing other content. So he didn't create those reels for those events. He took those events and then put his own video over and above what someone else did. So I would think sometimes it's hard to figure out what, like, I'm not a design expert, so creating a beautiful image to go in the background of something is a very big challenge to me. But he took the actual ads that were posted by the other entities that are putting on the event and then imposed his video and audio on that. That is so cool. That is all. I gotta try that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so smart because he's not, like you said, recreating the wheel. He's just sharing. You know, I have a friend, Steve Richmond. He does like really cool presentations. He's done some sales presentations for me. And he always starts out by saying that he's not original, that he's just a sharer of information. He didn't make this stuff up. He's just sharing information. And like really that's what we're doing, is sharing information in a way that will generate business for us.
Sarah, can you give us a little bit of an insight into how long content is good for? I've heard like some crazy numbers that it's like 30 seconds or 1 day. But like, what's the life cycle of a post?
Oh, so it depends on the post, right? So if it's a reel, your life cycle could be 5 years. I have had reels that I've posted, and I think that it totally flopped, and I get like 150 views, and I'm like sad. And I always tell people, don't pull those reels down, because that's happened to me. And then 2 weeks later, that audio decides to like take off, and suddenly I'm looking at a couple hundred view or a couple thousand views, and even up into the tens of thousands of views on ones that I thought were dead after 24 hours. So, and on like Facebook, yeah, the life cycle of the post is probably 24 hours, but if you get somebody who comes back and stalks your page, or someone that you just become friends with, and they scroll down and like something that's a few days or a few weeks or even years old, that cycles back in. So I see a lot of real estate agents go in and comment on old posts to bring it fresh again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I also, YouTube has a longer life cycle, right?
YouTube does, yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, so we have a question about IP issues and other content. Of course, we can never get away from the legal questions on our class. So I don't know, do you have any? So just from a Florida realtors rules perspective, if we want to talk about that question real quick, there's times where listings can be shared and not. So there's that. But I think the question that this came up on is sharing that reel. So do you want to talk about like remixing and how all that works?
So the permission is already given when they post it in a reel.
Okay.
You're posting your reel on the last step, you're giving people permission to remix it. So if you're remixing, it's already expressed. If they allow a download, the permissions expressed.
Speaking, how can I help you?
I'm doing great. See,
It's when, are we all still here?
Yeah, we're good.
It's when you screen record somebody's video that didn't already give you permission to either download it or remix. That's where the issues come in. As far as images or anything else like that, you would want written permission to share their stuff.
Okay, so if I understand this clearly, the images are, owned. It's the remixes through Instagram that have the express right to share remix on.
Facebook Reels. Yes, both
And
Facebook
Facebook,
and
of course.
Instagram Reels.
Okay,
So
got it.
if it allows a download, when you go look at another reel and you hit the share button and you look at all the options for sharing, if there's an option with an arrow pointing down to a line that's a download one, if that option is there, they have already expressed permission for that to be shared by allowing downloads, and it's already posted publicly. It's when they don't allow those downloads and you go screen record it that you can't, that's when you're breaking the law.
Okay, we have another question. I don't know if you want to do
Good.
it now or later, but for those of us who are not tech savvy, do you have any recommendations for apps or software that can do simple editing?
Canva.
Rosemean, all good. We're just glad you joined.
Yes,
Okay.
Canva, and CapCut. So I would recommend Canva. Canva's the most simple one that there is for editing videos. Erin, do you know of one that's better than and easy as Canva?
No, I will admit my editing capabilities are limited to in my phone. I shorten the video and then I will post it. And if I do anything on Instagram, it'll be add to text. That's it. That's all. But I have heard that Canva and CapCut, I mean, Canva is great for all kinds of design things for folks who are not design oriented. But I've heard CapCuts are a good tool for real estate agents to use when they're editing their own videos. So back to your point about photos and listing photos and images and that kind of thing, those types of things would be copyrighted images that would require permission of the person who holds the license or the photographer. So just to kind of clarify the difference, you were talking about where a reel, whether on Facebook or on Instagram, it allows the remixing. You're allowed to download it. It has allowed the remixing. So the person who posted it intended it to be shared or reshared, or at least allowed it to be shared or reshared. By contrast, if you are going to potentially share someone's listing, Kristen can talk about the rules of whether a listing agent is allowing their listing in particular to be shared. But if you're sharing photos, first you've got to give credit, but also get permission for that. Kristen, you want to talk a little bit about the sharing of a particular listing agent's
Yeah.
listing, and then what is required for that?
Yeah, so the Code of Ethics under the Board of Realtors covers has specific language restricting the use of photos and other IP material of other realtors. So you can't do those. You can't take a photo from another agent and use it. You can't do any of that without permission. And the Code of Ethics that you're governed by through being a Board of Realtor member, MLS member, governs that. So you can't do any of that. But there are situations where you can share listings. So if everybody kind of thinks about listings going through the IDX process and being shared on other pages, that is something that happens when you share content to the MLS. That can be then shared, as we all know, to Zillow or maybe your own website if you have an IDX feed. We typically recommend that you have some sort of disclaimer on there about IP because it's being reproduced and you have no control over the content. But that's kind of it's a very long subject matter. So maybe that's a 2025 full class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I think I would always get permission just in
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. The one
Yeah.
thing that's tricky is the IDX fee because it's coming
Yeah.
automatic.
Right.
But if you're actually physically sharing, you have to make sure you have permission, especially if it's a photo or something IP related or some sort of content developed by another realtor.
Right. But if you're just within Reels, be it Instagram or Facebook, and you're just doing one of those stitches or you know, what was the other thing called, Erin? Sorry. Not a
Remix?
stitch, but remix. Yes, thank you. If you're doing a stitch or a remix, or putting it in your story, no big deal.
Yeah, Kristen, I think that's actually a great topic to expand upon how we can kind of implement this under our current rules, but also there are rules for title agents and attorneys. We could talk about this in depth in 2025, but essentially there's some guidance by my Florida CFO that governs title insurance companies. Essentially, title insurance companies are not supposed to market the listings of real estate agents. They're also not supposed to market and share open houses and those kinds of things under that guidance. I know we see it happen, but we want to make sure that, of course, not only we're complying with the Florida Realtor rules, but also the title company rules as well. All right, Sarah, not to take over your last slide. So your last slide.
All good. This is this is probably one of my favorite slides because these are my favorite ideas for niching down into video marketing. Doesn't even have to be done video if you really don't want to, but I highly recommend video marketing, but niching down into an expertise. So financial education, doing a weekly video about saving money for a down payment and types of loan programs, and you can always invite a lender into that. The referral expert, like every week, share somebody that you work with or that you enjoy working with. This one thing would probably get you so many referrals. So just think about this every week you do a video. So I like to work with Erin because of always answers the phone. She's on top of her legal game and their closings are clean. Whatever your top 3 reasons. So whoever you like to work with, I like to work with Kristen because of boom, 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 and post about it every week. So then you're tagging them and you're getting in front of their audience, but not just people you work with in real estate, but your nail tech or your hair lady, your daycare person or your doggy care person, your favorite bakery, all your favorite small local businesses, everybody that you do business with, exchange money with, refer them every week, feature somebody every week, and you're getting in front of their audience, you're making them feel good, you're getting more referrals from them, and you're making it not about you, and you're becoming top of mind as like the guy that knows a guy. So everybody's always thinking about you. Oh, Kristen's always posting a referral. I'm gonna call her, right? So like huge, huge to just share other people and why you like to work with them. It's so selfless and selfish at the same time. Um, I got a question.
I love that.
Legally to
I do
market
too.
yourself as an expert. Well, no, I mean, you don't have to say you're an expert. Like you don't have to say, "Hey, it's your referral expert." I just mean positioning yourself as the expert. So you don't have to say in the video, "I'm the expert," but if you post every single week about something, it positions you as being the expert.
And so there are some designations you can get from NAR. So NAR has all these like random designations. I don't even know what they all are at the moment, but I think they're fairly simple. Like you got to take a class and then you can put these little initials by your name.
Yeah.
But you can do those types of things too. As attorneys, we have to take like another bar exam to call ourselves an expert. So it's a little more complicated, but Florida Realtors
Yeah.
does have, or NAR has that process.
Right. And again,
Yeah.
like it's the idea of positioning yourself to be seen that way. So, when I went to that real estate conference and I started teaching. I came back and I started teaching classes. I created this perception that I was everywhere and that I taught everything. And I didn't, and I wasn't everywhere, but I positioned myself, I looked that way. So it's really about positioning and making yourself look that way, but you don't actually have to say it. But I am familiar. I did have the ABR, accredited buyers representation designation, and like Freddie Mac certified BPO specialist designation. So those definitely, if you have those types of designations, talk about those too.
And I like, Sarah, I like your focus on how real estate agents play a huge role in building the community. Right? I mean, they are the folks that you reach out to who know the best pizza places. They know how to avoid traffic in a particular area. They know the best time to visit a particular, popular spot. I in the same vein of having real estate agents focus on the community and the consumer and not necessarily on themselves, part of the value that they're providing is helping to build the communities and share what their favorite things are about the communities. And that helps you connect with them individually as opposed to, I'm great at real estate or I'm great at real estate law and you know nothing about me or the community that I live in. So I think that's great. That's a great tip.
Yeah. So, we're about out of time. So I mean, you guys get the idea. I don't really need to dig into, I mean, I already talked about posting about events and activities, but really just take a topic, something you like, and start posting and talking about it and positioning yourself to be seen as knowing everything about that subject. And then you'll attract your tribe too, right? So, my recommendation would be to take one business one from niching down and one personal one. So like I would probably do the senior housing expert because I think that's fun. I don't know. I'm torn between the referral expert and the senior housing one, but I would pick one of those and then I would talk about golf or horses or something else. But those would be the two videos that I would be making every week consistently, to not only provide value to educate my audience on all things real estate, but also to attract my tribe and people that enjoy doing the same types of activity that I like to do. Because, we have an opportunity to attract people based on what we're posting. And if they get to work with people they know, like, and trust, I want to work with people I know, like, and trust too. So, with that, I'm going to those are some other apps.
Oh,
Who was asking on the
I'm gonna
apps?
write them down.
You want to
this
take
I think that's
Yeah,
that's
CapCut.
perfect.
I think
Yeah, I'm
everyone.
writing down. Sarah,
you,
thank
guys.
you so much. This is wonderful.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. We try to intermingle marketing from time to time because we know that's, we can talk about legal compliance all day long, but if we don't get customers in, or clients in, we're not gonna be able to. We're gonna need a FAR contract. So we appreciate you, Sarah, so much. This will be recorded and available on YouTube once I edit it. And I edit through YouTube, but maybe I should look at CapCut. And thank you so much, Erin. Any last minute words of wisdom?
No, well, yes, a few. We will be diving back into contract type of presentations in 2025. Heads up, there will be a revised condo rider for January 1st, 2025, and also revised FAR contracts. So make sure when you're pulling your contracts, you're using the most up-to-date versions of the forms. If you have a condo listing right now, make sure that you are updating it. If it doesn't sell in the next 3 weeks, here we are at the end of December 2024. So if it doesn't sell in the next 3 weeks, make sure that as of January 1st, you're using new forms. And Kristen and I will have our next presentation likely January 14th, but we'll keep you guys posted. We'll probably keep the same second Tuesday of the month format moving forward into 2024. 2025. I don't know what year we are, but if you guys have any topic suggestions, let us know. And yeah, we look forward to a great year and good luck out there.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.